Balenciaga Betty. They're in the gate. And they're off. Starship Defiant and Big Shamrock dueling for the lead. Vegan splits them and goes a joint second. Then La Deuxième Étoile, 3 lengths off the pace, followed by Saturday Heist. She's a Girly Girl and Precious Baby trails. Big Shamrock, Starship Defiant, 3/4 back second. 2 more to Vegan inside La Deuxième Étoile, with Saturday Heist fifth and 4 lengths off the lead. It's another 4 back to She's a Girly Girl and Precious Baby. 3 furlongs remaining. Starship Defiant on the outside. Big Shamrock fights on. 4 more to Saturday Heist, moving clearly into third. Vegan has lost ground. She's a Girly Girl, 7 off the pace, hugging the rail. Then La Deuxième Étoile and Precious Baby has trailed throughout, 3/16 to go. Between rivals, Starship Defiant in the center. Here comes She's a Girly Girl. And She's a Girly Girl is closing stoutly in the center of the track. And she's coming to get all the money. She's a Girly Girl wins it going away. Wrapped up late by Flavien Prat. Starship Defiant, Big Shamrock, Saturday Heist, and Vegan. Foothill and Bee Catcher. They're all in line. And they're off. Quick start for Allegato in the center of the course. 7 Wonders is prominent too. Foothill on the far outside and Agatino 1 from the outside as they cross the dirt and get to the main course. Bee Catcher is just behind this group, about 3 lengths off the lead with a little more than a mile to go. So it's Foothill just in front, but 7 Wonders intent to press on the outside, and 7 Wonders now sprints up to take the lead. Allegato and Agatino are next. Bee Catcher has settled 5th, 5 lengths off the lead. Then it's Midnight Joestar on the outside of Aja Weed. General Mathis in hand, galloping comfortably second to last, and Bender is the distant trailer. Heading past the 6 furlong pole, and it's 7 Wonders and Foothill. 7 Wonders gets the lead. Foothill concedes second. 4 lengths back to Allegato in third. Then Agatino and Bee Catcher at the rail. Midnight Joestar, Aja Weed is next, followed by General Mathis, who's about 7 lengths off the pace, inching up willingly outside of that pair with the pink sleeves, and Bender's at the back. They have a half mile to run, and it's 7 Wonders leading the way. Has it by about a length. In second, Foothill trying to come back for more while under a bit of restraint. Second, Midnight Joestar's made a mid-race move, and he's clearly into third. Midnight Joestar taking second under Kentasormo around the far turn. Just behind them, it's General Mathis, 3 wide, racing on the outside of Bee Catcher, who's down on the rail, and about 3 lengths off the pace with a 1/4 mile to go. Allegato, Agatino, followed by Aja Weed and Bender. They're at the top of the stretch, and 7 Wonders, 2-length lead. Midnight Joestar, General Mathis on the outside is next. They're a furlong from the finish. Midnight Joestar getting to 7 Wonders. Midnight Joestar right to him past the 16th, and Midnight Joestar, that's 2 for Slam Dunk Racing, wins it going away. 7 Wonders second, Allegato third, followed by General Mathis, and Bee Catcher completes the super high 5. Is the last one. They've loaded quickly. They're in the gate. They're off. Very even. They're right across the track with La Chispa just in front. Secret Hello broke well. So did Storm Doro racing in between rivals. And down on the inside, here's Turquoise Bikini up onto the main track. Sweet Hello between horses. La Chispa on the outside. They're joined at the rail by Turquoise Bikini, who's up to take a very narrow lead. Storm Doro is right there with that group. Far outside, Smoke 'em on the Cliff, too clear of Delmar Woman, and She's a Lucky Charm is at the back. They're heading to the 3/8 pole. Turquoise Bikini, Sweet Hello on the outside takes the lead. 2.5 more. Storm Doro is in third, followed by a hard-ridden La Chispa, passed by Smoke 'em on the Cliff. Another length and a half back to She's a Lucky Charm and Delmar Woman. And here's Storm Doro with a sudden burst to the front. Storm Doro has run right by the embattled leaders Turquoise Bikini and Sweet Hello and set sail for the wire. It's Storm Doro now building up a 4-length lead. No dangers in sight. Lights out. Storm Doro. That's 2 for BG and Royalty Stable today. Drawing clear with authority for Hector Palma. Armando Aguilar up. Storm Doro crushes. Turquoise Bikini second. Sweet Hello, She's a Lucky Charm, and Delmar Woman.
The good news is we're racing today at the Great Race Place. It's a beautiful Saturday whenever we have racing here at Santa Anita. It's so happy that you decided to join us. My name's Tom Quigley, VIP Player Concierge, also your seminar host for the next 35 minutes or so. Delighted that you decided to join us for at least part or all of your day. The slightly disappointing news is we're off the turf, unfortunately. The damage has already been done. In case you don't know, since opening day, we've had over 2 feet of rain here in Arcadia, California, and unfortunately the rain hit yesterday, which caused the cancellation. But like I said, today we are racing. It's a good 9-race card, and we're never disappointed when we have our seminar guest today. You probably don't know who he is, but he's a total Sharpie, and that's the type of seminar guest that I like. Underneath the radar, knows what he's doing. He's got a very good story. He's going to explain to us both how he's a horse owner and a horse player. I think you'll be mesmerized, I should say, by some of his stories. His name, Jerry Weseloh. Jerry, welcome to the seminar. Happy Saturday.
Thanks so much, Tom.
Great to see you here. Now, we were talking right before we came on air. Your first time to the track, you were 10 or 12 years old. Your dad brought you out here, but I think he told both you and your mom that he was bringing you to the zoo. Little did you know there was only one animal at the zoo, and it was a thoroughbred racehorse.
But I loved it, and then anytime he asked me to come back, I was coming. And if you don't mind, so I'm going to rewind a little bit. That introduction gave me way too much credit. I think what happened today was they were missing half of the all of the good handicappers in Southern California are in the NHC out in Las Vegas. So we're going deep into the bullpen today. So I'm happy to be here, but know that we're going deep in the bullpen.
Don't shortchange yourself, Jerry, because not only are you a prolific horse player, but you're also a prolific horse owner. And you were part of the partnership group that owned Brando the Bartender. It was acclaimed. Remind us again how much you claimed Brando for?
We claimed Brando for $40,000. It was in August. Going back here, I think it was 18.
Okay.
That we claimed him, and there was a 5-way shake that day, 5 or 6-way shake. So that just goes to show you how fortunate we were just to win the shake. And I still remember that day distinctly because Craig DeLossie, our trainer, was down and they were shaking for it right below us. And he didn't really have a reaction right when the pill came out.
You were expecting a big thumbs up or something.
It came. It was delayed. And he looked up and he did. That's exactly what he did. He gave us a thumbs up and we cheered. So people around us are looking at us going, why are these guys cheering? There's no race going on.
Right.
And so it was a little premature. Craig said, hey, you're supposed to act like you've been there before, Jerry, when you do get one of these. But what a ride he took us on.
How much did Brando earn after you claimed him for 40?
I should know that number off the top of my head,
Roughly.
but I think it was over $500,000.
Wow, right, 500,000, basically 10 times your money, even more than that. Let's walk down memory lane. Brando's last race was on July 25th, 2021, down at Del Mar. And ironically, he won a stakes race. Umberto Rispoli was in the saddle. We're going to cue the replay and watch and listen to Trevor Denman describe the action. Brando the Bartender breaks from post position number 9.
Deal for the California Dream and sent on their way. They all came away very smoothly. Along the inside, Desmond Doss is showing speed, wound tight in the oranges right up there as well. Galilean tucking in third in the black cap alongside of Margot's Boy. North County Guy is on the outside. Secret Club in the green cap. Unbridled Ethos the grey. Indian Peak is back 7 lengths off the leaders. Then Ward and Jerry. Brando the Bartender content to trail early. In no hurry whatsoever as they head to the 3/4 pole. It's Desmond Doss just amping them along 3 parts of a length. In the second spot is Wound Tight. Galilean pretty keen to go on down at the rail. Margot's Boy, Pink Cap. They then been followed by Unbridled Ethos. Alongside of Unbridled Ethos, North County Guy and Secret Club between them. Here's Indian Peak in the pink. He's given them 6 length start. In behind that, Brando the Bartender and Ward and Jerry 8 off them. Less than a half mile to go now, and Desmond Doss still shows the way, quickens it a little into the turn. Wound tight right there in the second spot. On the far side, Margot's Boy. Now here comes Indian Peak with a big run. And Indian Peak decides they're going too slow, and just look at Indian Peak go. And Indian Peak's gone right by them, twitching her ears back and forth, and Indian Peak takes the lead as they turn for home. Wound tight now chasing him. Brando the Bartender's come to join the fray on the outside. They're at the top of the lane. Indian Peak made that run. Can he sustain it? Wound tight is right there. Brando the Bartender. Brando the Bartender. North County Guy late run. Brando the Bartender. Indian Peak. Brando the Bartender up to one of the neck. Indian Peak was second.
Jerry, Trevor Denman did not say Brando the Bartender has a heart as big as the racetrack, but he sure should, because you can see he was totally game coming down the lane there after the Peter Miller horse started to draw off. You watched that replay probably for the 101st time in your lifetime, and you still get goosebumps watching that replay.
I do. I showed you because you probably wouldn't believe me, but I do. I mean, there was so much emotion after that win, TQ. My wife was in tears. Friends of us and back of us were in tears. People were high-fiving, just complete chaos. And what we didn't know is that would be his last race. So he actually went out in style. I mean, it had his biggest race and he saved it for last as an 8-year-old. We were considering campaigning him as a 9-year-old, and he didn't have any big injury. It was just a small injury, but we knew it was time. He'd done enough, and he's retired now at Old Friends back in Kentucky.
That is so cool. And Jerry's not a one-trick pony. He's had other successful claims as well. Code Duello runs up at Golden Gate later on this afternoon. Also, he has a runner in here in race number 2, I believe. Also, Cupid's Claw, you might remember, he claimed off of a trainer here in Southern California, wound up winning a grade 3 in the very next race. So Jerry certainly is underselling himself in terms of his horse knowledge, but it's our privilege to have him today. We're going to find out who Jerry likes on today's 9-race card. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati. Make sure you have a pen and pencil ready, because there's certainly plenty of scratches on today's card.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park. The track is muddy, and we are off the turf today. Off the turf for races 1, 4, 7, and 9. The distances remain the same, but will be run over the muddy main track. Here are the changes, and there are plenty of them. In the first, there's no super high 5 wagering with the scratches of 3, Derecho Dandy, 7, Big Flint, and 8, Mitad del Mundo. Race 1, start of the early pick 5, scratch numbers 3, 7, and 8. Off the turf to be run on the main track. In the second race, no changes. In the third, there's no high 5 wagering with the scratches of 4, Spiritist, and 7, Hialeah Hottie. 4 and 7 are out. Number 6, Mendez Mile, will carry 1 pound over. The fourth race is the start of the Rainbow Pick 6. The jackpot pool starts at $38,000 plus. No high 5, superfecta, trifecta, place, or show wagering, win and exacta wagering with the scratches of 1, Irish Rose. Scratch 2, Jennifer's Delight. Scratch number 4, Not Now. Scratch number 5, Heart of the Night. Scratch number 6, Annie's Joy. Scratch number 8, Tiff with Jimmy. And scratch number 9, Lunar Impact. Race 4, scratch 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. Win an exacta wagering in the fourth start of the Rainbow 6. We do have a revised morning line for race 4. In the fifth race, no changes. Race number 6 today, just the blinker note. In the 7th, main track, scratch numbers 2, Rain Over Me, 4, Shadow Creek, 8, Fast Chad, and 12, Deep River. 2, 4, 8, and 12 scratched out of the 7th, which will be run on the main track. In the 8th race, Golden Hour pick 4 starts, there are no changes. And in the 9th, off the turf, scratch 1, Scarabea, 2, Queen of the Temple, 5, Rivendell, 8, My Favorite Daughter, and 10, Anaglasa, revised morning line, Golden Hour double starts with race number 9. Scratch 1, 2, 5, 8, and 10. Those are the changes on today's program. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner for some off-the-turf handicapping with a special guest today, Jerry Weseloh.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with Jerry Weseloh. He's a prominent horse owner as well as a successful horse player. He's actually participating remotely with some partners of his in the National Handicapping Championship in Las Vegas at the Horseshoe Hotel and Casino. One lucky horse player will walk away at the end of the races tomorrow in Las Vegas with a cool first place prize of $750,000. But before we get into any handicapping, let's kind of revisit the ownership side, Jerry. It's a team effort. You've obviously got a lot of owners on board with you as well. Mike Jarvis comes to mind. But at the end of the day, it's really about the trainer and the help he has on the backside. And your trainer is Craig DeLacy.
No doubt. And I'm so glad that you brought him up because I think, again, you're giving me way too much credit. As owners, we like to fancy ourselves as trainers and we like to fancy ourselves as handicappers.
You're the boss.
But Craig DeLacy, we were so fortunate to land with him as our trainer. And he had a relationship with Mike Jarvis and Mike's father for many years. And that was how the introduction was made. But we didn't just jump in. We still went up, came up, had lunch with him, made sure that he was going to be the right fit for us. We wanted a lot of access. We were relatively new to, well, we were new to the game from an ownership standpoint. So we knew we needed somebody with a lot of patience and somebody that would allow us a lot of access to the back end because I just wanted to learn a lot. And so.
And you have.
Oh, a ton more than you can possibly know. And I think it helps your handicapping as well.
Let's talk about that for a minute, Jerry. I think being an owner actually helps you as a handicapper as well, because you understand a little bit more of the dynamics that aren't very apparent in the past performances.
100%. Whenever I would see a horse being claimed, I would immediately go toward they're going to, use different tactics. They're going to work the horse differently, maybe change something up from a feed standpoint. But it was kind of, that's where it stopped. And, you'll hear from trainers often, I want to make the horse happy. A happy horse is going to run better. And I'm like, okay, whatever, And we claimed, I can't remember what horse it was we claimed, but Craig calls me up and he was ecstatic. He goes, Jerry, you're not going to believe, I'm surprised at the condition of the horse and how he was maintained. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, oh, his ears look like they haven't been claimed in months. His teeth haven't been done. And I'm like, his ears and his teeth? And he goes, think about it. If don't clean your ears for a couple months and don't brush your teeth and tell me how you feel. And I'm like, makes total sense, right?
Something as simple as that can really dramatically improve a horse's performance, which makes common sense.
And so again, being the one that I want to find out. So I'm like, well, when are we getting those teeth cleaned and when are we going to clean the ears? Because I want to come watch. I want to see this in the action. And sure enough, so they're cleaning the ears, they're showing me, and I'm like, okay, I'm buying in now. But that's a small and a simple example. Obviously, Craig's got a great eye for horse flesh. And I mean, it's not often you're claiming horses that run back and win graded stakes. That just doesn't happen. That's a dream. So
you're very selective, Jerry, in terms of making claims. It's not like you're very active at the claim box, but it sure seems you have a high hit percentage because you're so patient, because you kind of pick your spots. What goes into that final decision of dropping a claim slip? Does it need to be a universal approval from all the partners, including Craig?
It does. I mean, Craig will usually bring those, 2 or 3 horses about where we want to be as far as what we're comfortable with as a group right now. But everybody has an input. And if somebody says, they're not comfortable with it, that's fine. We've dropped several claims and lost shakes, so that happens as well. But I think the word you used that really stuck out and resonated right there was patience. And that is something we have from our trainer to an ownership group all the way through. Night Party is our horse running today is a perfect example. You're going to see a line and a break of about 3 months. And as a handicapper, you might say, well, what went wrong? What happened? What's the physical condition of the horse? Absolutely nothing. She had a 5 race campaign as a 2-year-old filly. She's obviously maturing still. And we just wanted to give her time. She broke her maiden in that 5th start. We said, it's winter time. Go enjoy yourself, be a horse, put on some weight, and we're bringing her back gradually. And another thing Craig likes to do, and we love it as an ownership group, he likes to race his horses into shape. So it may not get your best shot the first out, but sometimes we'll use Los Alamitos, for instance, 1,000-yard sprint over there as kind of the final tune-up. And hey, you're still making a check that way too.
Speaking of Los Alamitos, that's where Code Duello won a race not too long ago. And Code Duello, as I mentioned, is running up at our sister track up at Golden Gate, I believe in race number 4 today. We don't have it on the graphics for the selections, but what are your expectations for Code Duello where the Bay comes to play?
Very interesting. So we're trying synthetic for the first time. I believe prior to us claiming the horse, He may have tried synthetics. It was originally with Brad Cox back east or back in the Midwest. So we're going to give it a shot. We also knew the rain was coming this particular weekend. We have a horse that's fit. He didn't do particularly well down the hill a few weeks ago. We kind of pushed it. That race came up, looked like it was devoid of any pace. So we kind of probably pushed him to do something he wasn't comfortable with. They came down the hill in 42 and change, and he wasn't happy. So I don't know if it was the hillside course, the pace. But the plan today is we told Evan Rahman, break and let him tell you what he's comfortable doing. It's his first time on synthetic. If I were to guess, I'd say he'll be mid-pack or further back than you might anticipate. We'll make one big run, and it's a short field. So from a closer standpoint, hopefully he's got a shot.
A lot of action for Jerry Weseloh, both here at Santa Anita as well as up at Golden Gate, as if he didn't have enough to worry about as far as the ownership group and also participating in the NHC. We also put him to the task of doing his homework. And as you heard track announcer Frank Miramati say, he's an off-the-turf handicapper today because we are off the turf. Both all races 1, 4, 7, and 9 switch from the turf course over to the main track. But let's kick it off here in race number 1, Jerry, which is one of those races off the turf course and now on the main track. There are 3 scratches. Scratch the 3, 7, and 8 leaves us with a field of 6. And now the current favorite on the tote board is number 5, American Refugee from the Bob Baffert barn. Give us your thoughts on race 1, which begins the early 50-cent pick 5.
Well, this will probably be a common theme today, but if I sound like I'm whining, I am. You know, the races came off the turf. I kind of knew last night when I was handicapping that these races were likely to come off the turf, but I didn't want to believe it.
You were being stubborn.
I was. So I continued to handicap them as if they were turf races. Knew they would come off. I got here about a half an hour ago, and
had to call an audible.
Yeah, and as fate would have it, I have the 3 on top here. I have the 8 third, and I like the 1 second. And the 1 is clearly, in my mind, a turf horse. I mean, I have all the respect in the world for Carla Gaines. She knows more than I'll ever know. She forgot more than I'll ever know. But I changed gears. I went 2-5 here. The 5, I think, is a deserved favorite. Baffert Hernandez, you know the connections are going to attract a lot. However, I like Edwin in this spot. I'm sure that he's going to push this horse. If he doesn't make the lead, he'll sit right off. And as fate would have it, you know, he did, you know, they were way back. I didn't have a chance to look at that replay, but, you know, he did outgame American Refugee, you know, last out. So nothing special, short field, 2-5, and I probably won't get involved.
Might be special 7-1 on your top choice, number 2, Golden 9. We've talked about a few jockeys so far, Jerry. We've talked about both Evan Rahman up north and Umberto Rispoli. It looks like you kind of like to spread the wealth a little bit with the different jockeys that you utilize on your runners. What goes into that decision? Is it exclusively Craig's? Do you guys have any input? Like, how do you determine who's going to ride which horse?
No, ultimately, yes, the decision is going to be Craig's, but he's great. That is something he will ask for opinions on and ask for our input. You know, who do you think is going to fit a certain horse better? On code, Kyle Frey's just done a remarkable job. You know, his comeback race, he ran a huge third to Notorious, and we know what that horse has went
Absolutely.
on to do. Came back, ran a nice second and an off track at Los Al, and then bang, rang the bell in an unbelievable. It was the final race of last year and the nightcap, and you know, last to first in literally he made up a ton of links in the last 8th, and really exciting. So I guess what I'm trying to say is we'll stay loyal. I mean, you know, we didn't get the result we wanted last out. I don't put that on Kyle at all. I think he's just ridden the horse unbelievably. So if we get somebody, they're doing a good job, and we're going to stick with them. And today, I mean, in the second, you know who we ended up with. That wasn't half bad.
Let's take a look at race number 2, as you mentioned, Jerry, because this is where your horse runs. It's a field of 6, and we're spreading 6 furlongs on the main track. Also, it begins the 50-cent early pick 4. This condition of the race is for Calbred 3-year-old fillies, non-winners of 1 other than. The morning line favorite is number 2, Fun Money from the Doug O'Neill barn. But your runner is number 5, Night Party, ridden by our leading rider, Juan Hernandez. Let's talk about how you got Juan and also what you think of Night Party.
How we got Juan is basically both Flavienne, who had ridden her in her victory 2 back, and Kyle were committed early. I don't know if it was a situation where we waited a little longer. bottom line is we ended up pretty fortunate. I mean, when you end up with Juan Hernandez on your horse,
good things come to those who are patient.
yeah, and an outside draw with a speed horse and somebody that as strong as Juan on her back. I mean, we couldn't have gotten any luckier there. That being said, I know we're supposed to pick our own horses, right? No, this is a handicapping seminar, so I'll tell you what I really think is going to happen. So this is a step up for her. She's eligible for starter allowance, and she's running in non-winners of 1 here. They are state breds, but again, some of these broke, straight maiden and look pretty tough. I mean, the 2s ran stakes experience, as does the outside horse. So I do think we'll make the lead. She is just a naturally quick horse in the first quarter. She pops the gate. She gets the lead. In an ideal situation, she would sit just off the 4, who also has some half-mile speed. That being said, both the 4 and the 5, our horse, are stepping up. The 2 favorites are drawn inside. The 1 particularly looks like off the first go likes to come from out of it. So I landed on the outside horse. I thought that the draw obviously in the 6 path is a perfect draw to have that speed drawn right inside of you. Couple closers that just looked like the value in the race to me. Fun Money looks like a deserved favorite in here based on the company she's been keeping. But again, she's 1 for 11, and I'm always willing to take a chance against something like that. So if you happen to see me at the racetrack and you wonder why I picked the 6 to finish on top of the 2, but I'm screaming for the 5 to win, you'll know why. I probably won't be betting, but I'll be rooting my heart out for our 5. And with an off track, you never know. You make the lead, crazier things have happened, right?
Our own on-air TV personality, Michelle Hansen, will be happy to hear that your top selection, Jerry, in race number 2 is the one that her husband trains, number 6, Charlie. Race number 3, again, sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track. This is for 3-year-olds. It's a starter optional claiming race, 2 scratches. Scratch the 4 and the 7, leaves us with a field of 5. Number 2, Crowning Gold from the Brian Corner barn, is 5-2 and likely to go lower with those 2 scratches. Thumbs up or thumbs down on the favorite, Jerry?
Thumbs down. This race with the scratches that are involved, especially the 7, that was originally going to be my top pick, drawn outside, longest shot in the race, scratched. So now I'm going to kind of go outside the box, for me at least. I'm going to go with the 6 here. Connections you may not be as familiar with, Luis Mendez and Edward Rojas Fernandez, who primarily rides at Los Al. I will tell you one thing he can do. He can get a horse out of the gate, and he can get a horse to show speed. He's kind of like, for those who aren't familiar with him, he's a lot like Edwin. He can get horses out on the lead.
He did it last time at odds of 26-1 right here on March 4th.
And I think if this short field, I think he's as quick, if not quicker, than Crowning Gold. So, give me the outside draw, give me the speed, give me the hustling rider, and I'll take my chances with the 6 on top.
And give you 5-1 on the morning line as well. Let's take a look at race number 4. Begins the 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6. The jackpot single ticket carryover now up to $38,000. Unfortunately, a number of scratches. It's easier for me to tell you who is running 6 furlongs on the main track for maiden special weight 3-year-old fillies than it is the scratches. The 2 runners that will compete are both number 3 and 7. Morning line odds, revised morning line odds, are now are now 5-1 on number 3 and 1-9 on number 7. 1-9 is not a very attractive number for those of us who like to play the horses. It's not much of a betting race, but it's almost like a match race. Do you have any opinion between the 2 runners, Jerry?
No. But what I will say, it's fun. As you're in the horse racing business, I mean, you'll have friends that will come to the track for the first time, right? And they always want your picks. So I love doing that for people. I love putting the picks, and I don't love every race, but people that are coming to the races for the first time always want to pick at every race. So I spell it out. I'll have each race written down, and then I'll always have a race or 2 that I really don't have a strong opinion, or it's a 1-9 shot. And I just tell them right here, this is a perfect time at Del Mar to get a Del Margarita, take a trip to the infield. Yeah, give them a nice little, game plan of things they can do other than bet on that particular race. This would be one. I really have no opinion. For one to maybe put you on your horses to watch list, the 1 Irish Rose was one that we were going to talk about. You'll notice visually, it's a very impressive race. What to me was even more visually impressive was the gallop out. This horse the gallop out was unbelievable. I think the horse is going to be something
for a first-time starter.
For a first-time Drysdale starter. Correct. I mean, that one's giving me goosebumps too. Watching that gallop out was all I needed to know to go, this one's got a lot. My one other thing, when I researched this a little bit further, This was an A play for me today at 4-1 because I really thought the odds on that horse would have stayed up with the Apprentice on. I did a little more research. I think he can ride the turf. I was impressed with his ride that day on her. The only thing I'll say is 1 for 40 on turf. That did, even though so sometimes what you think you know, the statistics or the numbers don't always back it up. I do think he's a special rider. I think he's going to be a special rider, but riding on turf is a whole different ballgame than riding on dirt.
Number 1, Irish Rose in race number 4 will not compete today, but as you heard Jerry say, make sure you take note of Irish Rose. And maybe even more importantly, if you're not going to play race number 4, go back and watch the debut effort for number 1, Irish Rose. And I think you'll agree with Jerry that she could be a special filly. One thing you like to do, Jerry, is you're very generous, not only with your time, but your energy in terms of introducing new people to the racetrack. And I know you live down in the San Diego area, but one thing you try and do every summer is bring out wounded warriors, wounded people who have served in our armed forces to basically expose them to the beauty of the racetrack. And you've done that quite often, and you must find a lot of enjoyment out of doing that and giving back to the community.
This is going to sound odd too. It's selfish. I mean, I love doing it. I mean, and I would put that at anybody. If you've got a cause or somebody that you want to bring to the racetrack, bring them on the backstretch by all means.
It's almost our responsibility.
Yeah, get a hold of me. I love it. I absolutely, when people use our seats down at the races, I'm always, would you like to go down early? Would you like to go back down to the barn? But that's a simple one. And, you're bringing up the Wounded Warriors, and we had a long relationship with them prior to, setting up this, bringing some of them down to the races. And everybody is so kind. You were kind. You were one of the first people I reached out to. Can you introduce me to a trainer? Can you introduce me to somebody else? And you were awesome. Tom Canoe brings a bell. Toby Terrell. Frank Tate with the handicapping, so it's, and I did just get the go ahead too. To bring Marines off campus is not something you're just, you go by and pick them up.
On the door, right?
No, you have to get the thumbs up. And I was actually a little worried. I heard back from him, and I literally got the okay a couple days ago. So looking forward to doing it again.
You said people getting in touch with you. You represent Flawless Racing. I assume Flawless Racing has a website where people can reach out and touch base with you?
No, probably your best way would be in the Twitter world, which you are very, very good at. At Jerry Weseloh was my handle, and by all means, shoot me a private message or whatever it is, a mail, and I'd be more than happy. I love it.
Let's take a look at the first of 2 stakes races on today's card. It goes as race number 5. Also, race 5 begins the 50-cent late pick 5. It's the Grade 3 San Carlos Stakes presented by FanDuel. We're sprinting 7 furlongs on the main track. $200,000 is the guaranteed purse. The morning line favorite, the speedy number 2, Forbidden Kingdom, is 8-5 on John White's morning line. Give us your thoughts on race 5, Jerry.
I'm not going to get too creative here. I hate to give out the favorites, but I'm going to give out a real tight second choice, just because I think these horses are so evenly matched, and I think my price will be a little bit better on the 5, even though it's drawn outside. One thing I'll make a note of, and it's just kind of a funny thing to do with the light card today. I love myracehorse.com. And I'm not just saying that. I love the fact, what we were just saying, it brings in so much new blood. And when we had Cupid's Claws, Tis a Magician was a My Racehorse. And I'd get in conversations with people, and they go, yeah, my horse is running too. And I'm like, really? Who are you? And I'm like, well, we're running against you. My horse is Tis a Magician. And I can't tell you how many people I ran into who said my horse is running against you, but they're also equally fired up as we were.
And passionate.
Yeah, and it's really cool. And I think it is great that they've brought in so much new blood into the game. Now, from a handicapping standpoint, this is a handicapping show, right? So I love it too, because those horses get bet. So, the chances are your Forbidden Kingdom is probably going to hit the board at about 2-5 in this one today. And we'll hope that we can get a little bit of a price. It probably should help our price hold up on our horse. So
let's take a look at race number 6. Begins the 50-cent late pick 4, a mile and a 16th on the main track for 3-year-olds. Maiden special weights, a field of 7. Number 3, Yellow Brick, who is adding blinkers for trainer Richard Mandela, is the 2-1 morning line favorite. Talk to us about race 6, Jerry.
So again, I didn't get super creative here. I ended up on the second choice. I don't get it. This was a trip situation for me. I fell in love with the trip this horse had. It was tough all the way around. From the start, this horse never really got a break in either turn. You see the bad stumble, it is. When you see the start of that race, you yell out, oh, because you're just like, you don't want it to go down all the way. You don't want the jock to get displaced. Athletic, recovered really, really quick, but then all of a sudden you've got a mountain to climb. And got back into the race relatively quickly on the inside from my memory, if my memory serves me correct, but then just idled a few times. And those slight idlings, those are the things you don't pick up unless you watch the race. Lost momentum a few times. And then when it came home, again, still showed some interest, big time interest. So I thought just, again, I kind of fell in love with that trip. It was obviously well thought of that day at odd, as a maiden. And I just think it comes back here and I think we'll get a better price. And that was who I ended up with.
I don't get it. Number 6, Jerry's top selection in race number 6 is just making his 3rd lifetime start. And as he mentioned, his first time going 2 turns was way more visually impressive than what you see in the racing form. Race number 7 off the turf course. This is a maiden claiming race for 3-year-olds in for a $50,000 claiming tag. Scratch the following runners: 2, 4, 8, and 12. 2, 4, 8, and 12 are all declared out of the race. Number 3, Ice Storm, originally was the 3-1 morning line favorite. Again, with the scratches, likely to lower from the Alfredo Marquez barn. What do you think of race 7, Jerry?
Yeah, this was unfortunately my best bet of the day was the 4 Shadow Creek. And obviously coming off the turf, that was the end of that. Another one, maybe another good replay or another good horse to go back and look at. I ended up 8-3. I mean, this is your typical,
and just
30-second handicap.
Yeah, just to be clear, Jerry, number 8 Fast Chad did scratch, so we're just going to stick.
So
with the
I'm
favorite.
down with I'm down with the favorite. Yeah, lovely.
Well, the good news is you've got a very simple pick 6 and pick 5 ticket to play.
I should have looked at that and noticed that my other horse scratched.
No, there's a lot of late scratches, so you did nothing wrong. Trust me, there's a lot of confusion out there, which is why we're giving the scratches constantly. But number 3, Ice Storm, who's had 7 lifetime starts, probably is the one to beat. At least that's what the morning line odds maker thinks.
Yeah, and I was super happy to see the line of 3-1 on that horse in the original morning line, because I really thought this was going to be a good bet against. I didn't, the turf form that this horse showed was nothing special on either occasion. But on dirt, again, 30-second handicap, and now that my 8's gone too, I might be drinking a lot today, and I can't because I got to drive home. So I don't know what I'm going to do today, Tom.
You'll be drinking plenty of Pepsi and Eddie Logan Sweet, that's for sure. Just one additional comment on the morning line favorite in race number 7, number 3, Ice Storm. He lost to a maiden special weight dropper that was trained by Doug O'Neill. You might remember Tiz Talk. So that wasn't just your normal maiden $35,000 or $40,000 claiming race. The winner actually was a very lightly bred horse owned by Calumet Farm. Race number 8 is the feature race on today's card, and it's an excellent race. It's the Grade 1 Beholder Stakes. Take a look at this purse. $500,000 guaranteed for fillies and mares traveling 1 mile on the main track. Also, race 8 begins the popular $1 Golden Hour pick 4, linking our last 2 races here with the last 2 races at Golden Gate, a Field of 8, and the Calbred, the daughter of Arrogate, number 8. Fun to Dream is the 5-2 morning line favorite. That's an awful quick run into the clubhouse turn. She's going to have her running shoes on today. We got a couple of out-of-state invaders as well from the Steve Asmussen and Brad Cox barn. Talk to us about race 8.
What a cool Calbred. I mean,
6 for 7 lifetime.
I mean, wouldn't you love to have a piece of this horse? I mean, just such a cool horse. And I'm probably reaching here, but I felt like it was the type of race that I wanted to reach in. She's a deserved favorite. The horse that's ran second to her twice, the last couple times, is Awake at Midnight. And, at 10-1, she was tempting. I think she'll probably come down. The shippers from Brad Cox and Asmussen, those are always like the 3rd team or the 4th team. They ship them out because they don't want them to run into one of their heavyweights from where they're from. And I usually like to take stands against those horses. So all of a sudden, the 2's out. The 3 has lost to my favorite on a couple of occasions. The 5 is out. I started thinning down this field pretty quickly. And again, it might be a reach, but I think there's still room for improvement for the 1, Kirsten Botch. We've seen John Sadler do it before. Kimura's riding great of late. And I think this horse gets a ground-saving trip. You've got some horses that I think maybe 7 furlongs, maybe a little shorter, is what they want. So Kirsten Bosch, I think, ground-saving trip, some speed to run at in front of her. I thought she was worth a look at 12-1, I believe was what her line was. So that's the horse I'm interested in this one.
Bombs away in the Grade 1 Beholder Mile, so says our guest Jerry Weseloh. 12-1 on Kirstenboss, the filly that's drawn the rail post position in race number 8. We close out today's card in race number 9 off the turf course, fillies and mares. It's an allowance race, non-winners of one other than. Also race 9 begins the $5 golden hour daily double. Following horses will not compete in race number 9. 1, 2, 5, 8, and 10. 1, 2, 5, 8, and 10 have all been taken out of the race. The revised morning line favorite is number 9, Implosion, from the aforementioned John Sadler barn. Now 8-5 on the morning line. Possibly another single for you in the nightcap, Jer.
Yeah, this would not be a day to go with a big spread ticket. That's for sure. You better be thinning these suckers down. Again, I was, debating. The one was really tempting at 15-1 if this thing stayed on turf, but at the end of the day, I ended up on the favorite again. I mean, what are you going to do? 3-4 horse fields. Again, I really don't have much to add on this other than another 30-second handicap. Who can handle the dirt? And that was how we ended up there.
Jerry, you always have something to add whenever you come on the seminar. It's been a treat to get your insight both into playing the horses as well as owning the horses. Not only good luck and good success today with your runners, but continuing going forward for the remainder of this year as well.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
Thanks to all of you for watching as well. A couple of quick reminders. Keep in mind, we've got another wager offer. It's the Coast to Coast Pick 5. It links races here from Santa Anita with races at Gulfstream Park. You can see the first leg of the Coast to Coast Pick 5 goes as Gulfstream Park Race 9 at 1:36 p.m. Pacific time. Also, another reminder, keep in mind, tonight we have to move our clocks ahead. That's right, spring forward. We're going to lose an hour's worth of sleep tonight. So spring forward, move your clocks ahead so you're not late for first post tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow, 9 race card beginning at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Have a great day and good luck. We'll see you tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the great race place. The track starts out muddy today, and we are off the turf. All turf races transferred to the main track at the same distance. Here are the changes. Just one additional scratch since 30 minutes ago. It's in this first race. No high five wagering in the opener. The new scratch is that of number 1, Circle of Champions. Also, scratch number 3, Derecho Dandy, 7, Big Flint, and 8, Mitad del Mundo. 1, 3, 7, and 8 are scratched out of the first race today, which has been taken off the turf to be run on the main track. In the second race, no changes. In race 3, scratch number 4, Spiritist. Scratch number 7, Hialeah Hottie. Overweight number 6, Mendez Mile, will carry 1 pound over. There's no super high five wagering. In the 4th, we kick off the Rainbow Pick 6. There's a carryover of $38,950. Scratch number 1, Irish Rose. Scratch number 2, Jennifer's Delight. This race is off the turf and to be run on the main track. Additionally, scratch number 4, Not Now. Scratch number 5, Heart of the Night. Scratch number 6, Annie's Joy. Scratch number 8, Tiff with Jimmy. And scratch number 9, Lunar Impact. Scratch 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. Number 3 is now 5 to 1 on the morning line. Number 7 is 1 to 9. No high five, no superfecta, no trifecta wagering offered. This will offer win and exacta wagering only with the scratches of 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. The 5th race is the San Carlos Stakes presented by FanDuel. It's the beginning of the late pick 5, and there are no changes. Turning to the 6th, started the late pick 4. No scratches or jockey changes. The 7th will be run on the main track at 1 1/8 miles. Scratch number 2, Rain Over Me. Scratch number 4, Shadow Creek. Scratch number 8, Fast Chad. And scratch number 12, Deep River, off the turf for race 7 to be run on the main track. The 8th race is the Grade 1 Beholder Mile. It's the start of the Golden Hour pick 4 with no changes. And in the 9th, we had program scratches of 2 and 8. This one off the turf, 1 1/8 miles on the main track, revised morning line posted. Scratch number 1, Scarabea. 2, Queen of the Temple. 5, Rivendell. 8, My Favorite Daughter. And 10, Anaglasa. 1, 2, 5, 8, and 10. A revised morning line is up for race number 9. Those are the changes on today's card. We're muddy and off the turf. Post time for the opener is in 24 minutes at 12:30. Enjoy your day at Santa Anita Park.